we're back. Welcome, 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 and thank you so very much for choosing to stay with us. We do hope you're enjoying the show as much as we are enjoying being in your company. Now, in case you're just joining us, you are right on time for the Gold Conversation with Mr. Nahashon Muge, who is a very skilled propagator, farmer, and also director of Macadamia products all the way from Muranga. He's going to be talking to us about some of the challenges that are being faced in this agri sector and how best we can create a harmonious relationship with every single person in this value chain. Thank you so very much for making time to be with us.
Thank you, Loretta. Nimeshukuru. I'm very happy to be with you today. Great. Last time we met, it was in March. Yes. And I don't forget, it was my birthday. It was your birthday. And you celebrated me. Yeah, and I sing for you. And here we are again. Yeah. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time. Now, just to jump straight into the conversation, we want to understand a lot more when it comes to the propagation of the macadamia and also the challenges that different value players are facing in this sector. First off, it does take close to 2 years to propagate the seedling of macadamia, and it does require a very special technique. If you compare it with other crops, which some take 2 months, 3 months, or even less, talk to us about that very special skill that it requires of you when you are propagating the macadamia.
Yeah, thank you. I think, as you have said, macadamia is very difficult to graft. Once, you know, it is business, and business, it is what you get in return and how long you will get the returns. So that's why you find that not many people will venture into the grafting macadamia business, because you need skilled labor, then you need skilled special tools, and also the information. You know how to, you see, like now we have a problem of getting the right jump racines for propagating. It is very difficult because there's nowhere you can go for clean propagating jump racines. So we take care of what little we have. That's number one. About the tools, we use, it's very funny that we use the surgical blades, which are very, they don't do the right work. What we used to do is that we get improvised tools, cutting tools, because we don't have any supply in Nairobi or in Kenya. Not unless we import from Japan, which is a very, very difficult task. Right. And then again, getting the right seeds and the clean planting seeds. Where can you go? Which agrovet in Nairobi can you go and buy seed, certified macadamia seeds? Is it? Do you know any? There is nothing. Even at Kenya Seed, I don't think there are. Because what we usually do is that we get our own orchards where we keep our own mother blocks and we take care of them. Right. So that's why it becomes again very technical when it comes now to propagating. Right. It's a combination of so many aspects that you have to put together. And this, of course, leads to the cost of one seedling being quite expensive. Right now, it's ranging to about 350. All right. Yes. So there's someone who wants to get into macadamia and nafikira 350 just for one seedling. If I have an acre, how many seedlings do I need? We need about 78. All right. And then you have crops like strawberry where you can get your seedlings at 50 shillings. You know, so this one is very expensive and it can discourage a lot of people from getting into the macadamia sector. As an expert in this field, what needs to be done so that we make sure we have affordable seedlings for our farmers as we push them to get into this sector? Yes, first of all, we need the research. The research station at Thika is no longer active as far as macadamia is concerned. We had a whole institution for purposely for macadamia that was put up some years back by JICA. And now it is no longer there. And if it is there, it is very inactive. So it's where we can train very many young people to venture into this business. Number two, the process of making. There's nothing, you cannot go to any agrovet and buy propagators. So we make our own using poly bags, polythene sheets, using wood. Yeah, even sometimes we use banana stems. So what we usually I would advocate for the government is to come and assist provide the skills. The research should come up with better or modern technologies like the tissue culturing, and other modern technologies of propagating.
Have we started embracing the tissue culture?
It was started, I don't know where it went.
But if I go the direction of tissue culture to propagate my seedling, will it take the same amount of time as compared to this one, which takes 2 years, or that one is less time?
With the tissue culture, it will be very faster. It will be faster because it is it will help in producing animals. From one stem, you can get 1,000 or 10,000 seedlings.
And how long would that take roughly, if you was to give us an estimate?
You know, it's a process because they have to go and do some research and come up with a protocol to make it done. So what I think we need to do is just to go back to Caro, and they come up with and they have to collaborate with the private sector, because we already have the real or the identified researched varieties.
Right.
So we have it's not a one-man show. We need a whole sector to combine and collaborate.
Why is that not happening up until now? Because we have this creative, amazing ideas on what we need to do to tackle the issue that is seedlings, which we know a lot of farmers are facing, but none of those ideas are being implemented as they should be. Is it that we're giving more priorities to other agri-sectors and we're ignoring others? Why is that conversation flat as of now?
With macadamia, it's funny, because most of the institutions that are entitled to do all these things, they capitalize their efforts at the consumer or at the export, processing and export, because you know where that's where the activity is in terms of money. But forgetting that, whatever the premium nuts you want to export, they come from the nursery.
Yes, we
are the people who makes that nut premium. So. Again, it comes now to the government institutions to realize that macadamia is a commercial crop that can be enhanced and can be supported to bring in a lot of income. Then I think, as you can see at the chart behind me about the value chain, I think the mostly affected part is the nursery level, because we are the producers. We are the quality makers. And we are less disadvantaged at the whole value chain. The government is not coming down to the nursery level.
All right, so a lot of effort is being put in the exports and the processing parts, and we are forgetting the source. Talk to us about what the current demand is like for macadamia, and from where you sit, when you project the future, what are you seeing the trend will be like in the demand for macadamia?
Macadamia market is on the rise. Now we have India that is now coming again. Apart from now, we were talking about China. Now India is coming. It's another new market that is coming. Everyone, you know the population of India. Again, we have a very large market of the local market. How many times do you eat macadamia?
Not often.
Have you? Since you are in my place. No, because
of doing macadamia every single Tuesday now on the show, I get to eat it often, but I tend to feel like if I wasn't on the show as much, we don't eat it as much. And I feel like, you know, when we're having the conversation of we're exporting over 95%, why are we also not consuming our very own macadamia?
It's only 5% that is left.
Why are we not consuming it locally?
Because there's nobody to nurture. Like now in the county government, let me say, there's no nutritionist to show people the importance of macadamia. Even leave alone macadamia, even avocado. Nobody to train people how to eat their own produce. Who is there? Tell me.
So we have bodies like
nutritionist.
So we don't have the nutritionist, but then again, we've had conversations with people from bodies like the World Macadamia Organization, whose mandate is to help create the urge and the need for macadamia from the people. Is that enough?
I think since macadamia came here, it's not a new crop. It's never a new crop. It came here in 1944 with Bob Harris, etc., who was here in Thika. 1944 to date, we are not able to eat our own macadamia at village level. Ni ile tu tunagonga tu. We assume that this is for European, is for Americans, is for Japanese and Chinese.
Right.
Who will tell the people to eat macadamia? And that's a niche market we have around. Right from here. If I had 100 packets, I think I could have supplied you here.
Yes. Yes.
Ningeenda nyumbani.
Oh, na sasa umelalia biashara.
No. That's another issue for another day. So, what I mean is that the market is on the increase worldwide. Why are we importing cooking oil? And macadamia, some of these nuts are being used as fuel to burn boilers at some oil producing companies in Kenya.
So you've asked a very important question.
Yes.
Why are we importing cooking oil?
Yes.
And then I'll come down to the processors who at this point, they would have processed the macadamia and exported processed macadamia from Kenya, right?
Yeah.
They would have value-added macadamia and made oil and all these other value-added products. But do remember, we do have a policy shift. We did have a policy shift late last year that allowed Kenya to start exporting raw macadamia to the international market. And now our processors have almost no raw material to deal with. How do we tackle that? Because I understand for farmers, you don't want that window to be shut.
Yeah.
How do we balance it? Because you want to export your raw macadamia to the international market, but then again, if you speak about value addition, how possible will that be if we do not have the raw material back at home? You
know what is happening in Kenya? So many actors or processors or exporters are coming in. And the same is just like a loaf of bread being scrabbled by 20 people. We shall be forced to scrabble. What is there in Kenya is they are licensing, the government is licensing more exporters, forgetting that the same produce that was being produced 20 years ago is the same one. So they have to scrabble.
Right.
So what I would think about the policy, they should come up with a policy whereby an investor or an exporter should first of all come and invest in expanding the orchards, supply seedlings to the farmers, increase acreage, increase agronomy practices to increase production. Then update or upgrade the existing kienyeji or indigenous varieties that are poor producers. There's a way of regrafting them and making them the better varieties, high yielders.
Right.
But we don't have who is to do that. There's nobody. There's no increase in macadamia nurseries because of those difficulties. Right now, we are about very few macadamia nurseries in Murang'a. I think 2 or 3. Yeah? Why? Because not many people can venture into business. And that's why we should introduce more macadamia to the public. Increase acreage. Another issue is to increase production. These companies, they are rich companies, multinational, they are billionaires, these guys. They need, first of all, to increase their acreages. They get idle lands, they plant their own macadamias. There's one company, the main one in Kenya. It has more than thousands of their own. In fact, sometimes they just do their own. They don't come to us.
Right.
They just process their own, and it is enough for their market.
Right.
What if all the 40-something companies increase acreage? They have their own plantations. They increase the production will be higher.
Right.
And this scrabbling will diminish.
So now they're scrambling for production that is still very little.
Yes.
And that's why there's the challenge.
Yes.
All right. Now, you've mentioned that you are about 2 to 3 nurseries in Murang'a.
Yes.
Talk to us about, are you meeting the demand that is there, or are you also struggling with dead stock sometimes? How is that working for the very few propagators that are there in Murang'a?
What there is, since Corona, the backlog has been there. We have never been able to clear off our backlog. So we have a lot of macadamia worth millions of shillings in our nurseries. Because in Murang'a or within Mount Kenya region, you know very well the sizes of our farms. It's 1 or 2 acres. They say it is already saturated. So we are now living on other, or from other counties, like maybe Rift Valley. They are getting, the whole of Rift Valley, they are coming from Macadamia in our place. So what there is we need extension to show people how to intercrop. It's a way of increasing acreage. How to intercrop macadamia with coffee. Because at first it came as a shade for coffee in 1944. It was a shade for coffee plantations. So if we reintroduce at small scale farmers, we introduce maybe 10 macadamias in their farms, they will be able to increase production.
Right.
So there is still room for expansion even in Murang'a. With the 3 nurseries that are there.
Right.
We can be able to add, in fact, like now we have about 20,000 seedlings. Just like they are, in fact, they are taller than I. Where shall we sell them?
Right.
The government is not subsidizing. The county government should subsidize and give them to the farmers for free.
Right. So growing macadamia as shade for your coffee, that's now using the skill of shade-grown coffee. Yes. And we've also seen a lot of macadamia farmers, especially in central Kenya, opted for macadamia after they started experiencing challenges with the coffee prices. Yes. So you'd find they're doing it as a by the way too, you know, and this is a crop that has a lot of potential. Yeah. So as of now, in order to move them away from just doing this as a by the way, in case the coffee prices go up, wasiachane na macadamia, waendelee na macadamia, because of the potential that it does have for the farm and for the country as well. Is there enough sensitization being done to open up their eyes to that light?
Yeah, in fact, we have tried to do it at private level with the help of the media, of course, because I think you are the only people who listen to us, the media. When you go to the regulators, who is the AFA, they are the people who crafted that act, Section 43, banning of in-shell. And in-shell is very marketable, especially in China. In UK and America, they like kernel.
Processed kernel.
Processed.
Yeah.
In fact, they are not even processed. Even the act itself is ambiguous. What the kernel, they don't roast before they send. So it is still raw. Okay? Because it was done under abnormal circumstances between the processors and AFA, the government, the regulators of nuts and oil crops. They did it behind our scene. They never let us do the public participation because the China market or the Asian market, they want it raw, in shell.
In shell. They
go and process on their own.
Right.
And they pay the amount up to 300 shillings per kilo.
Right.
If it is premium.
Right. So far we are understanding that we need to put a lot of efforts to the nursery level if we are to increase production, and also there's need to have nutritionists in different counties talking to people about the need of consuming our very own macadamia.
To create market.
Right. Now we've understood that part, but we also have a challenge of quality from our farmers is not good. And if you do not have good quality, then even in the export market, it doesn't make sense. We want to take a break right now. When we come back, you'll be talking to us a lot more on what are the mistakes that we're making, and are this mistake from a seedling level, farm level, or even processing level.
Okay.
All that's and a lot more when we come back from this short commercial break.